What if Anakin Skywalker never turned to the dark side? Let's explore the depths of it in this video. Anakin meditates in his quarters, trying to forget the news of Padme's pregnancy. Although it should be a joyous moment, the announcement feels like a nightmare. Every time he closes his eyes, he finds visions of his wife lying on the birthing bed, dying alone, as the pregnancy is too much for her. With how often it happens, it begins to feel inevitable, and he's doomed to lose the woman he loves. But his troubles do not end there. He hopes the council could assign him a mission to the frontlines, somewhere he can take his mind off his worries. Instead, they order him to spy on the chancellor. For Anakin, this is just salt in the wound, as not only does he have his wife to worry about, but now he feels his loyalty being torn between the Jedi Order and his mentor, Palpatine. Eventually, it becomes clear that sleep will not come, and Anakin decides to get up and meet with the chancellor. The two of them meet in the opera. There, Palpatine finally casts his line to try and lure the young Jedi into the dark side. As they watch the opera, he hints at the power that can prevent those he loves from dying. Anakin is immediately intrigued by the offer. This is the power he'd been searching for since he saw his mother die. With it, he could save not just Padme, but his entire family. Anakin considers accepting the offer, but something nags at his head. The way Palpatine described this ability is unnatural. Would he subject Padme to something that might alter her body in such a way? The more Anakin considers it, the less certain he is. He decides to consult Padme first and hear what she has to say. After the opera, Anakin makes his way to her apartment. When she sees him, she immediately comes to his side and helps him sit, asking what's wrong. Before Anakin realizes it, he starts telling her everything that happened that night, from his visions to the power Palpatine offers. He explains that there are Force abilities not known to Jedi that can save her. For Padme, that is a lot to take in, and she struggles to make sense of most of it. She sees the worry on her husband's face and places a hand gently on either side. Gently, she reminds him that Anakin has never let anyone dictate his life to him. He's always done things his way, and he's never needed dark powers to do that. Just his passion and love. These visions are no different. She says she doesn't need any powers to save her. She only needs to have Anakin by her side. For Anakin, this is all the confirmation he needs. It's as if a huge weight is being lifted off his shoulders. While he is still afraid, he sees the hope and determination in his wife's life. He feels a sense of peace wash over him. Anakin's mind is clear, and he begins to see the wisdom in the Jedi Council's plan. Though he disagrees with some of their actions, they are right to be suspicious of Palpatine after all. His offer was unusual, as was his knowledge of the Sith lore. With this information, Anakin reports his findings to Mace Windu.
He won't give up his power. I've just learned a terrible truth. I think Chancellor Palpatine is a Sith Lord.
A Sith Lord?
Yes, the one we've been looking for.
How do you know this?
He knows the ways of the Force. He's been trained to use the dark side.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Anakin then hesitates, causing Mace to frown and ask if there's more. Reluctantly, Anakin continues. Yes. He's offered to train me to use the dark side. Mace curses under his breath and decides to confront the Chancellor with a strike team of Jedi. He orders Anakin to wait there, sensing the confusion and conflict in him. However, this time Anakin agrees, and as the gunship carrying Mace disappears, he heads back inside to meditate. With so much happening over the last few days, Anakin takes this opportunity to try and clear his head. Although he avoids Palpatine's trap to lure him into the dark side, he still feels a great danger threatening him. Though subtle, he senses darkness growing in the Force. However, his thoughts are interrupted by the sound of shouts below. As he looks out the window, Anakin sees many Jedi rushing through the temple courtyard. He makes his way down there just as a few clone troopers reach the top of the temple steps. Hundreds of clones in gleaming red and white armor of the Coruscant Guard appear before them. At once, Anakin feels a great disturbance in the Force and ignites his lightsaber. He shouts at the younglings and Padawans to get back as the clones fire at them. Anakin deflects the shots aimed at him, but the others are not so lucky, and some Jedi begin to fall. Hearing this, Anakin unleashes a powerful forced push that sends the clones toppling down the steps and tripping up the advancing units behind them. With that distraction, Anakin orders the remaining Jedi to carry the wounded back inside. The Jedi are badly outnumbered, but the clones are alone and unfamiliar with the temple. Anakin suggests using the secret passageways to evacuate the younglings and Padawans while the rest of the Jedi hold off the clones. Anakin takes command of the defenses, ordering the Jedi to form small groups that can fight together and hold back larger squads of clones. Anakin rushes towards the council chambers and attempts to send a message to the other Jedi in the galaxy. However, he is greeted by silence. Unknown to him, Palpatine had activated Order 66, and thousands of Jedi across the galaxy were being killed. Though he doesn't fully realize what's happening, Anakin feels spasms of pain, like 100 tiny pricks at his skin as the balance of the Force shifts into the dark side's favor. Despite that, Anakin doesn't let himself get distracted as he's determined to hold the Jedi Temple at all costs. For hours, he makes his way through the temple, fighting through waves of clones, rallying the Jedi there, or helping survivors escape. Despite that, the clone trooper numbers seem limitless, and soon he finds himself trapped in the council chambers as a dozen younglings stare at him.
Master Skywalker, there are too many of them. What are we going to do?
Anakin places a hand on the boy's shoulder and forces a smile on his face. I want you and the others to find a hiding place. I'll deal with these clones. As the boy nods and runs off with his friends, Anakin takes a deep breath. With lightsaber in hand, he prepares to sell his life dearly to buy time for the others to escape. He hears footsteps approaching the door, but is silenced by blaster fire and shouts. A commotion spreads outside as clones turn to face a new threat. For a few tense moments, the chaos continues until there's silence, and then the door opens to reveal Mace Windu, badly wounded, but alive. Anakin helps support him and props him against the chair. There he explains what happened in the Chancellor's office. Anakin's claims were true, and Palpatine cut down the entire strike team, except for Mace. Mace nearly killed Palpatine, but the Sith Lord escaped and activated Order 66, forcing him to break off pursuit to help protect the temple. Despite his injuries, Mace gets up and rejoins the fight alongside Anakin. Together, they drive out the clones and temporarily secure the temple. However, they know this is only temporary and retreat. Thankfully, they can escape thanks to Bail Organa, who provides transport for them off-world. They meet up with Obi-Wan and Yoda, and learn that Palpatine has declared himself Emperor. How could the clones have done this to us? I don't think they were in control of themselves. Remember how there are inhibitor chips implanted in the troopers? A few months back, one of my men had a chip malfunction and it caused him to kill a Jedi.
Believe the chips are responsible, you do, Skywalker.
It would explain everything that happened, and why the executions were so widespread. If that is the case, we might find answers on Camino. We should meet up with the other survivors and move to Camino. The others?
Yes, thanks to you, Skywalker. Many younglings escaped the temple. Evacuated off-world they were. In the meantime, get some rest you should. Done the Jedi a great service, you have.
Despite his exhaustion, he feels his chest swell with pride at the praise and goes to lie down. As he rests, Anakin is greeted by another vision. He finds himself back in Padme's birthing bed. With his mission to spy on Chancellor Palpatine, the two agreed it best for Padme to be transferred to a remote medical station. There in the darkened room, she screams. But there is something different. These aren't the shrieks of agony, but fear. Her gaze flickers up just as a red lightsaber appears. It cuts through the medical droids tending to her and points down at her chest. Anakin jolts awake, clutching his chest. The vision felt more powerful than ever, and he's left trembling. However, he also understands its meaning and rushes to inform the others that he knows where Palpatine is. As he explains everything, the others are skeptical. Why would Palpatine want to go after Padme's children? Reluctantly, Anakin admits that they are not just her children, they are his as well. Mace's eyes light up as he now understands why Palpatine offered to teach Anakin. Sensing their anger, he promises to accept whatever punishment they have, but only after they deal with the Chancellor. The rest of them agree, and Obi-Wan offers to go with Anakin, while Anakin and Mace journey to Camino. The two depart on a smaller ship and reach the medical station just in time. Palpatine's ship is docked on the landing pad, while dead medical droids are scattered everywhere. The two reach Padme's room just as the Chancellor is about to enter. Obi-Wan and Anakin look at each other, and then thrust their hands forward, sending Palpatine flying down the hallway. As he soars through the air, he ignites a pair of lightsabers and lands on his feet with a smile. As his hood falls, he reveals a wrinkled and burnt face, a testament to Mace's fight against him. The sight makes him look decades older than before.
Ah, Master Skywalker. I was just preparing to visit the mother-to-be. Have you seen the father by any chance? It would be improper for him to miss such an important occasion.
You should know better than to bother a pregnant woman. Anakin rushes to Palpatine's side, aiming a slash at his chest, while Obi-Wan joins him a moment later, aiming at his leg. The Sith Lord blocks both attacks and shoves them back. The two reverse their positions and receive a pair of vicious kicks for their efforts. It's over. I won't join you.
I know, boy. You've made that clear when you nearly thwarted my plans. I am not here to convince you, simply to repay that treachery in kind.
Anakin snarls in anger, but before he can attack again, a hunk of metal comes flying towards Palpatine, forcing him to defend himself. Obi-Wan hurls the remains of the droid staff at the Sith Lord. Palpatine laughs at this feeble effort to slow him down and begins to advance, cutting through everything that gets in his way. Anakin lifts an intact droid and launches it straight at Palpatine. He prepares to slice it apart, but at the last second, a blue lightsaber bursts from his chest, sending motor oil flying right at Palpatine's face. The Sith Lord gasps and covers his eyes as the oil splashes over him. Briefly blinded, Obi-Wan and Anakin rush at Palpatine again. The former forces Palpatine to defend, while Anakin slashes his lightsaber across the oil pooling at Palpatine's feet, igniting it, and sending the flames roaring up across Palpatine's body as his oil-soaked robes catch fire. He falls to his knees, flailing wildly as he tries to wipe the oil from his body, screaming as his battered flesh is burnt to a crisp. Anakin lets him linger for a moment, before finally beheading him. The two friends share a look, but are pulled back to Padme's room. She begins to scream once again. They quickly hurry back to help with the birthing process. On Camino, Yoda and Mace manage to deactivate the clone's inhibitor chips, preventing any more Jedi from being slain. In the end, although Anakin did break the Jedi code, he also showed that his attachment did not rule him. He is made a member of the Jedi Council, and a master for his actions in stopping the Chancellor. With his new role, Anakin works to rebuild the Jedi Order by training the younglings, many of whom only survived because of Anakin's actions. Among this next generation are his two children, Luke and Leia. That's our theory. The Star Wars universe is a galaxy filled with exciting stories and possibilities, and we love exploring them. If you want to accompany us on this journey to a galaxy far, far away, then please like, share, and subscribe to our channel.